Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I hope you are doing great today. Let me ask you a question before we begin. Have you ever heard someone say, "Stop slacking off," and then later heard another person say, "Cut him some slack"? These two expressions sound very similar because they both use the word slack, but their meanings are completely different. One expression talks about being lazy or avoiding work, while the other expression talks about being kind, understanding, and less strict with someone. In today's lesson, we are going to explore the complete difference between slack off and cut someone some slack. We will discuss their meanings, pronunciation, grammar, tone, usage in daily conversation, professional usage, emotional meaning, and common mistakes learners make while using them. At the end of this lecture, you will be able to use both expressions naturally and confidently in real-life conversations. So stay with me until the end because this lesson will improve your spoken English, listening skills, and vocabulary power. Let us begin with the first expression. Slack off. The phrasal verb, slack off, means to become lazy, to avoid work, to reduce effort, or to stop working seriously. When someone is not putting enough energy into work, studies, or responsibilities, we say that person is slacking off. This expression usually has a negative meaning because it describes carelessness or lack of effort. Pronunciation. Slack off. The word slack sounds like slake. The word off sounds like awf. Together they sound like slack awf. Meaning in simple English: to work less seriously than you should, to avoid responsibilities, to become lazy after starting something, to stop making a strong effort. Now let us understand this expression deeply. Imagine a student who studies hard for 1 week but then starts watching movies all day instead of preparing for exams. That student is slacking off. Imagine an employee who arrives late every day, spends time scrolling on social media, and avoids important tasks. That employee is slacking off. Imagine a football player who stops practicing seriously after winning one match. That player is slacking off. So whenever someone reduces effort or avoids responsibility, we can use slack off. This expression is commonly used in schools, offices, homes, gyms, sports teams, and even relationships. Grammar structure. Slack off is an intransitive phrasal verb. This means it usually does not need a direct object. Correct examples. He is slacking off. They started slacking off after lunch. I cannot slack off now. Incorrect example. He slacked off his homework. That sentence is wrong because slack off does not directly take an object in that way. Tone of the expression. Usually negative, sometimes playful among friends. Can sound critical or disappointed. Parents use it with children. Bosses use it with employees. Teachers use it with students. Common situations where we use slack off. At work, at school, during exercise, during projects, in relationships, during training, while learning skills. Examples of slack off. Example 1. If you keep slacking off at work, your boss may fire you. Example 2. She started slacking off after she got promoted. Example 3. I cannot afford to slack off because my exams are next week. Example 4. The team lost the match because several players were slacking off during practice. Example 5. Stop slacking off and finish your homework before dinner. Now let us explore the emotional side of this expression. When someone says, "You are slacking off," they are usually expressing frustration, disappointment, or criticism. It suggests that the person has potential but is not using it properly. For example, a teacher may say, "You are very intelligent, but lately you have been slacking off." This means the student is capable but not working seriously. In spoken English, native speakers often use this expression casually. For example, "Come on man, stop slacking off and help us move these boxes." Here it sounds friendly but still critical. Now let us discuss some synonyms of slack off. Similar expressions: be lazy, goof off, waste time, avoid work, loaf around, take it easy too much, not pull your weight. Each of these expressions has a slightly different tone, but all of them can relate to reduced effort. Now let us move toward the second expression. Cut someone some slack. This expression has a completely different meaning. Cut someone some slack means to be less critical, more understanding, or more forgiving towards someone. When you cut someone some slack, you give them room for mistakes because you understand their situation. This expression is positive and compassionate. Pronunciation: cut someone some slack. The word cut sounds like cut. Slack sounds like slake. Together the expression sounds smooth and natural in conversation. Meaning in simple English: be less strict with someone. Give someone a break. Show understanding. Be more forgiving. Do not judge someone too harshly. Now let us understand this expression deeply. Imagine your friend is late because of heavy traffic. Instead of getting angry, you understand the situation. You cut your friend some slack. Imagine a student forgets homework because of family problems. The teacher decides not to punish the student strictly. The teacher cuts the student some slack. Imagine a new employee makes small mistakes during the first week. The manager understands because the employee is still learning. The manager cuts the employee some slack. So this expression is connected with kindness, patience, empathy, and understanding. Grammar structure. The structure is usually cut plus person plus some slack. Examples: cut him some slack, cut her some slack, cut me some slack, cut them some slack. Tone of the expression: understanding, friendly, sympathetic, compassionate, encouraging. This expression often appears when someone is being judged too harshly. Examples of cut someone some slack. Example 1. She has been under a lot of stress lately, so cut her some slack. Example 2. He is new at this job. Cut him some slack. Example 3. My little brother is still learning how to drive, so my parents cut him some slack. Example 4. You should cut yourself some slack and stop being so hard on yourself. Example 5. The teacher cut the students some slack after the difficult exam. Now let us discuss an important emotional detail. This expression is not only used for others. People also use it for themselves. For example, I need to cut myself some slack. This means, I should stop criticizing myself too much. That is why this expression is emotionally powerful. It is connected with mental health, emotional balance, patience, and humanity. Now let us compare both expressions directly. Slack off versus cut someone some slack. Slack off means to become lazy or reduce effort. Cut someone some slack means to be more understanding and forgiving. Slack off is usually negative. Cut someone some slack is usually positive. Slack off criticizes behavior. Cut someone some slack defends behavior. Slack off focuses on responsibility. Cut someone some slack focuses on compassion. Now let us see them side by side. Sentence 1. He is slacking off at work. Meaning, he is not working seriously. Sentence 2. Cut him some slack. He has been sick all week. Meaning, be understanding because he has a valid reason. Notice the difference carefully. The first sentence criticizes him. The second sentence defends him. This is the core difference between these two expressions. Now let us go deeper into real-life situations. Situation 1. In school. Teacher, you have been slacking off lately. Your grades are falling. Friend, cut him some slack. He has family problems at home. In this conversation, the teacher criticizes the student while the friend asks for understanding. Situation 2. In the office. Boss, several employees are slacking off these days. Manager, we should cut them some slack because the workload has been exhausting. Again we see criticism versus compassion. Situation 3. In sports. Coach, you cannot slack off during training. Assistant coach, Cut the players some slack. They played 2 matches this week. Situation 4. At home. Mother, you are slacking off instead of cleaning your room. Father, cut him some slack. He just came back from school. Situation 5. Personal life. Person 1. I feel terrible because I made mistakes today. Person 2. Cut yourself some slack. Nobody is perfect. Now let us discuss why English learners often confuse these expressions. Reason 1. Both expressions use the word slack. Reason 2. Both are common in informal English. Reason 3. Both are used in emotional situations. But remember this simple trick. Slack off equals laziness or reduced effort. Cut someone some slack equals understanding or forgiveness. Now let us discuss the origin of the word slack. The word slack originally referred to looseness. For example, a rope with less tension is called slack. Over time, English speakers began using the word metaphorically. When someone slacks off, their effort becomes loose or weak. When you cut someone some slack, you loosen the pressure or tension on them. That is why both expressions contain the same word but develop different meanings. Now let us explore advanced usage. Advanced use of slack off. Native speakers sometimes use this expression jokingly. For example, I planned to study all weekend but I completely slacked off. This sounds casual and self-aware. People also use it in motivational speeches. For example, successful people do not slack off when things become difficult. In business English, it may appear in meetings. For example, productivity has decreased because some workers are slacking off. Now advanced usage of cut someone some slack. This expression is very common in emotional and supportive conversations. For example, parents need to cut teenagers some slack sometimes. It is also common in mental health discussions. For example, you do not need to be perfect every day. Cut yourself some slack. Native speakers love this expression because it sounds warm and human. Now let us discuss common mistakes. Mistake 1. Using slack off positively. Incorrect. He slacked off and became successful. Correct. He worked hard and became successful. Remember, slack off usually carries a negative meaning. Mistake 2. Using cut someone some slack to describe laziness. Incorrect. I cut some slack all day yesterday. Correct. I slacked off all day yesterday. Mistake 3. Confusing the meanings. Incorrect. My boss cut me some slack because I was lazy. This sentence can sound strange unless there was a genuine reason behind the laziness. Better sentence. My boss cut me some slack because I was dealing with stress. Now let us practice pronunciation naturally. Repeat after me. Slack off. He is slacking off. Stop slacking off. Do not slack off now. Now the second expression. Cut someone some slack. Cut him some slack. Please cut her some slack. You need to cut yourself some slack. Excellent. Now let us explore mini dialogues. Dialogue 1. Mother, why are you slacking off instead of studying? Son, I am just taking a short break. Dialogue 2. Employee 1. The new worker keeps making mistakes. Employee 2. Cut him some slack. It is his first week. Dialogue 3. Coach, do not slack off during practice. Player, sorry coach. I will focus harder. Dialogue 4. Friend 1. I forgot to reply to your message. Friend 2. It is okay. I will cut you some slack this time. Dialogue 5. Student, I failed my test and feel terrible. Teacher, cut yourself some slack. One test does not define your future. Now let us discuss cultural usage. In American English, both expressions are extremely common in daily speech. You will hear them in movies, TV shows, podcasts, workplaces, schools, and social media. British English speakers also understand these expressions, though frequency may vary. These are informal expressions, so they are best used in casual conversation rather than highly formal writing. For example, In a formal business report, instead of saying, employees are slacking off, you may write, employees are showing reduced productivity. And instead of, cut someone some slack, you may write, show greater understanding toward employees. Now let us discuss memory tricks. Memory trick for slack off. Think of someone becoming lazy and loose with effort. That person is slacking off. Memory trick for cut someone some slack. Think of loosening a rope to reduce pressure. You reduce pressure on someone emotionally. That means you cut them some slack. Now let us do a quick comparison exercise. Sentence 1. The workers were slacking off during office hours. Meaning, they were not working seriously. Sentence 2. The manager cut them some slack because they worked overtime yesterday. Meaning, the manager was understanding and forgiving. Perfect. Now let us discuss how these expressions relate to human psychology. Slack off often happens because of boredom, lack of motivation, stress, burnout, distraction, or overconfidence. For example, students may slack off after passing one exam because they become too relaxed. Employees may slack off if they feel unappreciated. Athletes may slack off after early success. On the other hand, cutting someone some slack is connected with empathy and emotional intelligence. It means recognizing that people are human and sometimes struggle. Strong leaders know when to demand discipline and when to cut people some slack. Wise parents know when children need correction and when they need understanding. Good teachers know when students are slacking off and when students genuinely need support. That is why understanding these expressions also helps us understand human behavior. Now let us do one final practice section. I will say a situation and then explain which expression fits better. Situation 1. A student stops studying and wastes time playing games. Correct expression: slack off. Situation 2. A tired nurse makes a small mistake after working for 14 hours. Correct expression: cut her some slack. Situation 3. An employee spends most of the day watching videos instead of working. Correct expression: slack off. Situation 4. A friend forgets your birthday because of family stress. Correct expression: cut him some slack. Situation 5. An athlete avoids practice sessions. Correct expression: slack off. Excellent work. Now let us summarize today's lesson clearly. Slack off means to become lazy, avoid work, or reduce effort. Cut someone some slack means to be more understanding, forgiving, and less strict with someone. Slack off is negative. Cut someone some slack is positive. Slack off criticizes behavior. Cut someone some slack shows empathy. These expressions may sound similar, but they express opposite emotional ideas. One points at lack of responsibility. The other points at kindness and understanding. And that brings us to the end of today's lesson. I hope you now fully understand the difference between slack off and cut someone some slack. These are powerful expressions that native English speakers use all the time, and now you can use them naturally and confidently too. Before you leave, I want you to answer this question in your mind. Have you ever slacked off when you should have worked harder? And has someone ever cut you some slack during a difficult moment in your life? Think about it, because language becomes powerful when we connect it with real experiences. Thank you so much for watching and supporting this channel. Keep learning, keep practicing, and keep improving your English every single day. See you in the next lesson.